This video is brought to you by Cool Green Clothing.
Hey, God, come support, man. Come on now.
Hey, man, big love in the city, man. Stopping the trap on the boys,
I'm gonna
man.
support my brother, man, my black brother. The price is right. Treat yourself. Don't beat yourself.
Exactly.
Beat your feet down the street and get one of these cool green headbands. Do you understand what I'm saying, my man? Deuces, holla back, cool green dude.
Exactly, man. Let them know, man, what you love about that cool green.
If you're not cooling and getting the green, then you gotta get out the way. You know what it is.
Exactly, man.
You know
exactly, man. I couldn't have said it no better.
What's going on, YouTube fam? This your boy Tony 2Times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to smash that like button. Definitely watch the video to the end. Let's get right into it. Choices. That is a word that gets overlooked in certain environments. Some people feel as though they do not have a choice and become products of their environment. On this episode of the Baltimore Way, we will be discussing the case of a promising Baltimore boxer and a group of friends that somewhere in the mix, things went left. James Berry III. Sources allege he spent a lot of time at the gym practicing his boxing. But growing up in West Baltimore, street activity was all around. And after losing a college scholarship due to the school taking away his boxing program, it left James in the area he grew up in with childhood friends, in which a lot of them were trapping. On a prior Baltimore Sun interview, James told them he was trying to stay off the corners, and his people described the young man as loving money and stated they were scared James would eventually hit the streets. And unfortunately, years later, this would be the case. Everything allegedly started with James and a group of friends from the neighborhood. They ended up calling themselves D-Block, and they all trapped together. According to sources, the crew trapped near the corner of Division and Bloom Street, and a hit would allegedly split the group. In June 2008, Brian Goodwin, a member of the squad, was shot and killed, and some say James started telling everybody another member of the crew did the hit, which divided the group and would start a chain of events. The member who they alleged was responsible for Brian's death was hit himself days later on the same block. This will lead to people picking sides. Some stayed loyal to James, others branched off to do their own thing. This is when things went left. In 2008, two cousins, Justin Berry and Howard Grant, who were allegedly former D-Block members, were both shot but survived. Police felt as though the attempts was for the two switching sides and not being loyal to James. The two cousins, in which Justin had just started college at Morgan State, were offered protection because of how many times they were targeted and shot, but both men declined and did not cooperate with police. Unfortunately, both were shot and killed days later. BPD were trying to link James to the two hits after he previously beat a body the year before. Things would get quiet for a few years as members were locked up and the streets were hot. But in 2011, when three men were outside sitting on a bench in Bolton Hill, at least 30 shots were fired, killing Angelo Fitzgerald. Witnesses and BPD evidence were trying to link James to this hit as well, but prosecutors declined to prosecute due to the lack of evidence. Then in 2012, allegedly James and a few friends were said to have kicked down the door of a home of the mother of Brandon Horton, another D-Block member, who James felt as though turned on him. But Brandon wasn't home. To send a message, the men allegedly opened fire, killing two of Brandon's brothers and shooting his mother, in which fortunately she would survive. This would put BPD back on James' trail, and the same witnesses from the 2011 shooting were being re-interviewed by police. In December 2012, alleged D-Block member Angelo Ward was shot and killed outside his home, in which some felt as though this was a retaliation against James, since that was his best friend. Later that day, BPD stopped the car with several men and 4 blickies. On the tip, they were going to retaliate after the hit on Angelo. In total, BPD were trying to link James to 9 shootings in which 6 victims died. A once Golden Glove boxer with dreams of going to the Olympics was facing multiple murder charges. James and his co-defendants were all charged with the double hit after the home invasion. James Berry was sentenced to 2 life sentences, plus 110 years, along with one of his co-defendants. More of this story, the streets always win, one way or another. I send my prayers and condolences to all the people who lost their lives in this situation. James could have been a pro boxer, but became a product of his environment. The choices we make have consequences that go beyond what we could see at the time. But later, it might be too late. But hey, that's the Baltimore way. Man, crazy story, you feel me? Alright, so basically, you feel me, allegedly, James got caught up in a conspiracy where they was trying to say he was sending hits, getting people hit because they betrayed the group that they was in. But they trying to say a rumor was started that one D Block member hit another D Block member. It was basically just like a story of a group splitting up, childhood friends that grew up together, that knew where each other lived at, splitting up. And you hear that a lot in the streets, and sometimes things go south, you know, because people feel like you know too much about me, so if you my enemy and we used to be cool, you know too much about me, so I got to get you out of there. But James had interviews with the Baltimore Sun before getting in the streets where he was a Golden Glove boxer. He was actually trying to go pro. You know, he was helping, training kids and stuff like that. And he was good at what he was doing. But once he lost his college scholarship, the streets got involved. And they alleged a lot of street activity was going on. They say a lot more people got shot, you know, but they tried to charge them with, I think the hit he got convicted for was the one in Bolton Hill in the home invasion, if I ain't mistaken. But they say a lot more activity was going on, and one of his friends got life too. You know, a few of them got life, but in different situations. But man, it be sad like that, but it be real like that in certain environments. You know, you could be a promising athlete one minute, then the streets will take over, then for you know it, you locked up or you gone for life. You know, and some people can't escape that. They can't escape that reality. You know, some people fortunate enough to see the track and get up out the situation. But some people, when they in it, they just thinking about survival. They ain't thinking about nothing else. So I know how I feel to be on both sides, you feel me? But unfortunately, some people don't make that decision and it be too late and their life be gone forever. Because once you get that kind of time, you know, they trying to throw away the key. They ain't never trying to let you out. You know, I think when all this occurred, I think he was 25 years old when he caught his time. But yeah, man, messed up situation. Like I said, rest in peace to all the victims that lost their life, man. Real sad. But y'all already know, man, this is another episode of the Baltimore Way. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Be sure to tap that like button, share it with your peoples. Love y'all, fam. I'm out.